Love makes the world go round. But for human beings, romantic love and sexual encounters come in many different guises. In New Zealand, this man offers healing through sex, and business is booming.
Everyone wants to know how many women I've slept with. I'd have to say it's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000.
In the United States, it's not easy to come out of the closet when your passion is for balloons.
When you think about it in a real true love sense, it really isn't a toy.
In the Netherlands, one man fathers enough children to fill a school.
85 children born, and at this moment, 8 people are pregnant.
And in Australia, a 40-year-old virgin searches for sex.
I don't know if I can go through with this.
Relationships can take many forms, but some are stranger than others. Piano teacher Dave Collins has a passion for music.
When I play music, I feel relaxed, I feel calm. I feel this overall sense of beauty coming over.
Playing the piano isn't Dave's first love.
I love you so very much. You're so special to me. Why would anyone want to destroy such a beautiful object such as yourself?
How I really feel about balloons, it's very passionate, very deep. I have this real true love for them.
27-year-old Dave lives in Little Rock, Arkansas, and he's infatuated with balloons.
The best way to protect it is underneath the shirt, and you feel the balloon right there with you. It feels so close, and you feel so warm, and you feel so... And your heart just reaches out to this beautiful, beautiful balloon. I believe these balloons are my children. They are a part of who I am as a person, and I feel that they make part of my so-called family. I love to sleep with them in my shirt. They create this world of sleeping on clouds. And you just want to feel the love emanating from these beautiful, beautiful balloons. Some people will think I may be doing something else with them. Not true at all. I am pure in my life. I keep the balloons the same way.
Dave belongs to a subculture of balloon lovers known as looners.
There are various aspects of the balloon that appeal to looners. Looners are really particular about the smell of the balloon. Mm-hmm. They also care a lot about the color and the shape of the balloon.
Oh, gorgeous.
They also like the sound of the balloons, and the feel of the latex, rubbing it on your skin.
Basically what I do with balloons is blow them up, then I tie it off, and then I play with it, I hug it, kiss it, and I gently squeeze it. I may squeeze a little harder depending upon how soft it is or how tight it is. Sometimes the size may matter. Sometimes softness could be the color too. I might get attracted a little bit more to some. When you think about it in a real true love sense, it really isn't a toy. I know I have non-sexual romantic love for a balloon. Beautiful. So gorgeous.
Dave's romance with balloons began in 1998 when he was 14.
I remember seeing 2 beautiful helium balloons that were yellow, about 12-inch. And something caught my eye and something caught my heart saying, go get it. I got the one balloon, I took it home, and I played with it, and I felt deeply in love with it.
Many fetishes can be traced back to some sort of event in childhood that elicits some kind of a strong emotion. And then these emotions are essentially undigested. And these undigested emotions later on become sexualized and then attached to a certain kind of object.
Dave rescues balloons, mainly from the parking lots of second-hand car dealers.
When I really first started doing balloon rescues, I was quite nervous in talking to the managers because I feel you don't know if they're going to say no or not. I actually do get quite emotional when I rescue these balloons. It's like a yearning to get these beautiful things.
And today, Dave has spotted some balloons he'd like to take home.
All these beautiful balloons. Oh my goodness. It's really, really sweet. Oh. When I bring them home with me, I try to restore them as best as possible. I feel a balloon does have feelings. It's vulnerable to a lot of things. I hate it when it gets popped. I hate it when it gets sad or let go in the air. A balloon needs a good home, and I'm here for it. Careful. That's good. That's good.
Dave is what's known in the balloon community as a non-popper.
Ooh, ow. Man, that hurt my ear. Poor thing.
Non-poppers see the popping of a balloon as tantamount to murder.
A non-popper is a person who does not like the popping of the balloon. It causes them anxiety a lot of the time, and in the most extreme cases, they can even view the popping of a balloon as the loss of a partner.
You see, you can't play with it anymore.
Meanwhile, in downtown Denver, 46-year-old performance artist Elle is a popper.
I do get excited about the pop.
This morning, Elle is popping balloons in public.
A blow to pop is where you inflate a balloon with your mouth until it pops. And it feels wonderful. You know, I feel strong when I'm blowing it up. I know I'm putting my life force into that balloon, and I'm excited by it, so that you're just waiting, you know, is it gonna pop? Is it gonna pop? Is it gonna pop now? So when it does, it makes you yourself go, ah.
A popper is somebody who is excited and sexually stimulated by a balloon, particularly when it pops. The pressure and resistance and excitement involved with blowing up a balloon and popping it is a perfect metaphor for an orgasm itself.
Yes, I played with balloons as a child. They were always something I really enjoyed. Not quite the same way as I do now. I love moving the balloons around, having the latex, the color, the shiny. It's just pure pleasure.
Elle is well aware her passion for balloons can be misunderstood.
Balloons are symbolic of childhood. Some people, they see you playing with a balloon, they jump to conclusions. Oh, there's something wrong with you. Maybe you think about children. It's really infuriating because this has nothing to do with any desire for children.
Many Lunars keep their passion secret, fearful of how others will react to their strange love.
I'm very fortunate. I have never felt that I had to hide any interest that I have. However, a great majority of Lunars don't have that luxury and do feel very afraid to be open about it.
I have hidden my love for balloons from a lot of people. I feel it is a private thing. I just got out of a relationship 4 months ago. And I told her about balloons, and she thought I was quite sick. The sad part was, she shared my love with balloons to her work, to her parents, to her church, without telling me.
People are afraid to be ostracized. They're afraid of discrimination and prejudice, and there's also an internalized shame that a lot of people have because they've consistently been told there's something wrong with them for engaging in these behaviors.
Some things that I do with balloons could be seen as a taboo subject. You know, someone on the outside looking here and thinking, really, this person does that? Wow. I kind of may see that, but at the same time, you know, if it's something that you've enjoyed, you know, since childhood, and if you've grown to love it, I don't think there is a taboo behind it.
Dave says that the romantic love he feels for his balloons helps his relationships with people.
I learned to channel my love to that balloon, and it's kind of like a practice somewhat to an actual human being. Hey, you want to treat someone with respect, dignity, love, kindness, and it works quite well because you feel like calmness coming over you. And what happens as a result? Hey, you feel like a better person. I'm a Christian, and I know my God is there for me, always. But I know there's also something that's physically there too, which is a balloon.
Tonight, Elle and her lunar friends are trying something new.
If you know me, you're going to interact with balloons.
Elle has a unique party trick involving 72-inch balloons.
We've come here tonight to try to get as many people inside the balloon as possible. Well, first you're going to inflate it as big as you can without popping it. And then the first person's going to get inside. It's fun watching them wrestling with the nipple. And they want to get in as fast as possible, letting out the least amount of air.
There's a risk of suffocation, so helpers are on hand.
It's just really good, spontaneous, chaotic fun. Why not experiment and explore and go beyond the norm?
It's fun being a sexy girl.
Andrew Wong is out to change his world.
If I start running today, then I'm going to be running for the rest of my life. And I'm sick of feeling scared, and I'm sick of feeling ashamed. And this is like a challenge for me, to be able to feel comfortable around a naked girl.
For most of Andrew's life, sex has been taboo.
My name's Andrew Wong. I'm 40 years old, and I'm still a virgin.
On Australia's Gold Coast, Andrew is trying to face his fears.
I'm inside the strip bar, and I'm just feeling really nervous. It's just nothing I've ever seen before. It's nothing I've ever experienced. I'm not thinking straight. I don't know if I can go through with this. Being a virgin at 40 years of age, I guess I feel a little bit like I'm a failure. Because at age 40, I was expecting that by now I would have had a happy family life that revolved around my wife and my children. You get so many rejections that you lose your confidence in your ability to talk to women, and then you sort of like just crawl into a hole. I just hate rejection.
Now in middle age, Andrew is facing a crisis of loneliness.
Sometimes I feel suicidal in the sense that, like, gee, if I just walked onto a road and accidentally got hit by a car, all my troubles would be over.
It's not unusual for men to feel depressed at a situation like this. Andrew has set himself some life goals, and he hasn't actually met those. And so, during self-reflection, he's gone to a dark place. The research actually shows that, yes, suicide rates are higher in single men.
Most men will have some kind of sexual interaction or develop a sexual relationship in adolescence or early adulthood, and this is the typical pattern. So there's not a lot of 40-year-old virgins out there.
For the 40-year-old virgin, it's not just about how he feels about himself, it's also about how others view him.
How might men view a man like Andrew, who is still a virgin in his 40s? I think with a mixture of wonder and pity. You know, what often happens, and we've seen this in the movies, is the initial response is one of disbelief.
When it comes to sex, Andrew's been drifting for too long. He feels it's now or never.
I am really tired of being negative, and I'm really tired of always putting myself down. I'm definitely hoping that I can change all of this.
Now he's turned 40, Andrew Wong is keen to act. He's seeking professional help from sex therapist Christina Spacavento.
Today I'd like to ask you to tell me what you were taught to believe in regards to going to strip clubs and looking at women.
I was brought up in a traditional Chinese family. I was brought up in a very strict, conservative Christian background, so I had certain things that I was taught to do at all times.
Okay.
And by going to a strip bar, it went against everything that I was taught to believe. My parents came from a very, very small Chinese village, and they encouraged me to practice abstinence, whereby I shouldn't have sex until I'm legally married.
Andrew works at his uncle's Chinese restaurant.
The main problem for Andrew is the father and mother, you know, the expectation is too much, you know. But as I said to Andrew, Andrew, you just have to go and do your own thing, you know. If you find a girl you like, well, go for it.
Religion was also a factor.
At the age of around 22, I joined the Mormon Church. To maintain virginity was a huge virtue, so I had absolutely no shame whatsoever that I was a virgin. In fact, me and most of my church friends were quite proud of the fact that we were virgins, that we were pure.
Andrew has since left the church, but its impact still lingers.
The problem is because shame and guilt has always been used as a tool to control me. Although it's been 5 years, again, that I've left the church, it hasn't left me.
Okay. There's men that come into my clinic and they are virgins, in their mid-30s, 40s and upwards, and this can happen for a series of reasons. The point is that they're not going to go out and advertise this, and so we don't really hear about it. And these men can also experience a lot of shame, guilt and embarrassment. And so what's important is that we actually work with them in helping them to have the appropriate social experiences so that they can actually lose their virginity and have a relationship.
Christina's plan is to prepare Andrew for a speed dating event at the weekend.
I'm Andrew, I'm here for an appointment.
Go on down, I'll take your place.
So she's come up with a series of tasks to better his chances of developing a sexual relationship.
I've never actually done anything with it except combed it.
Yeah.
Andrew must also work on his low self-esteem.
I love myself wholly and unconditionally. When you've spent so many years putting yourself down, it's a bit hard just to say a couple of words to yourself in the mirror and actually overnight suddenly you're a changed, positive person. But, I'm working on it.
The weekend has arrived.
Happy speed dating.
Could tonight be Andrew's lucky night?
Nice to meet you, Tegan. Why is a very beautiful, intelligent, articulate woman like yourself still single?
A woman doesn't want to be told that she's beautiful and she's amazing from a person who's met them for 2 seconds. It just seems fake. Yeah.
If a guy like me were to take you on a date, would you accept?
He was a little bit full on, yeah. He'd sort of already decided what we're doing for our third date. He decided what we're doing for our second date.
Unfortunately, at the end of the night, there's no happy ending for Andrew.
There's going to be a lot of girls which will probably say, no, they're not interested in going on a date with Andrew. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. I think that when I finally find the right person and lose my virginity, it's going to be like a major change in my life. The fact that I can enter into a relationship and have sex with a person and enjoy it will be, a new chapter in my life. It will be a burden that I no longer have to carry with me.
In a busy modern world, it's a pleasing sight to see a father spending quality time with his sons.
I love it to be with the kids in the park. So fun. It's just a slice of happiness, in a sense,
But these aren't Ed Huben's only children. He has many, many, many more.
As far as I know, there are 85 children born. And at this moment, 8 people are pregnant.
"43-year-old tourist officer Ed Huben is Europe's most prolific sperm donor. He's helped dozens of women to conceive.
I started donating in 1999. All my life I've been looking for something to do, something positive, which by itself has a value for basically eternity. I've been proud to help people who could be incredibly good parents. It's not the ideal family situation as many people would picture it, but I think that picture could do with a little bit of change.
Today's picnic involves a small fraction of his vast extended family. Natalie and son Eric, and lesbian couple Danielle and Sabine, with son Finn. They're expecting their second child soon.
We don't hide the fact that he's the father. We're completely transparent about the situation. We have photos of Ed hanging in our house, so Finn, and pretty soon Hannah, can see who their dad is.
Ed also gives single mothers like Natalie a chance at a family.
I did not have a relationship. I was bisexual. Still, I wanted very much to have a child. He's a good father and also a friend. But moreover, he's a good friend of my son.
Eric is a real special individual in my life. He gives me hope for the future.
At first, Ed was an anonymous donor at a government-regulated sperm bank. To prevent interbreeding, regulations restricted individual donors to conceiving 25 children each.
Large numbers of donor-conceived children from one donor carries a number of risks. It could create difficulties for donor-conceived individuals who may unwittingly fall into the trap of accidental incest with all the problems that can bring.
Ed reached the official limit of 25 children after only 3 years, but he's determined to keep fathering more.
I've considered stopping at 1,500 children, but to me, really, numbers are not important. I don't feel ashamed of what I do. If you look deeper into the subject, you'll find egomaniacs, but I'm not one of them.
Ed is more responsible than most private donors. He keeps a database of all his children, accessible to them and their mothers.
Most of the names are there. The clinic information is there, and names of people I've tried to help, but who didn't let me know anything after we tried.
His aim is to help them avoid accidental incest. Ed operates in conditions very different to the early days of sperm donation.
The earliest recorded moment of sperm donation in the medical literature actually appeared in 1909. For the vast majority of the history, it has been shrouded in secrecy and anonymity.
In the 1950s, donation became formalized with regulated sperm banks established, serving married couples who couldn't conceive.
The heterosexual couples often didn't tell anyone that they were using sperm donors and often wouldn't even tell their own children.
Times have changed. In the US, the fertility industry is worth $3 billion a year. One treatment cycle can cost upwards of $15,000. But there is a way to get it for free: private donors.
A private donor is somebody who donates outside of a fertility clinic setting, and as such, he or she does not go through the same vigorous health screening and qualitative check process.
Websites advertise men's sperm from around the world.
The downside to these private websites is that we don't actually know what the sexual health of this person is. We're not actually aware of the quality of the sperm, and we have no information about what the genetic material is like. Also, it may just be a way for men to get sex from women.
After reaching the 25-child limit, Ed began impregnating women from his home. As a private sperm donor, Ed provides his clients conception options: the natural method via sexual intercourse, or a DIY service, using a test tube and a syringe.
So far, I've helped about 2/3 of the people with natural insemination and 1/3 with artificial insemination. So you need to keep this part warm.
Okay.
And, you can go into the bedroom and I'll wait here for you.
Okay.
Okay, best of luck. I've learned that either you're okay with artificial or you're okay with natural, and there's basically no in between. But I really do think that people miss in artificial insemination just the feelings, the emotions, the sharing of intimacy that artificial insemination just doesn't have.
Ed has had hundreds of sexual encounters with women desperate to conceive.
One might think that this is very nice, that Ed is giving his service for free. But there's all kinds of men who are sleeping around with various women and don't regard it as a service at all. They regard it as an opportunity.
And everything okay?
Yeah, everything is okay.
Ed's behavior would be considered taboo by many because, on the one hand, he's being very promiscuous and having many partners. On the other hand, he sort of has an unfair genetic advantage because he's creating 80 or more offspring, whereas most of us produce, 2 to 3.
Ed has no legal contract with the women he impregnates. He relies solely on trust. So the role Ed plays in the lives of his offspring comes with risk.
Most sperm donors historically have not really sought intimacy with the children that they have fathered. In fact, classically, sperm donors have gone to great lengths to remain anonymous out of fear that a child born from their sperm would somehow make a paternal claim upon them.
Such fears are well-founded. A 2007 landmark case saw Andy Bathy, a sperm donor from Enfield, forced to pay child maintenance.
From Ed's perspective, he can be held legally liable as a parent and financially responsible in certain cases, or at least at best be unclear as to his potential status.
Danielle is due to give birth to Ed's 86th child in a matter of weeks. Baby Hannah was conceived through artificial insemination.
For me, it's a very special occasion because usually I see people who are not pregnant and then I see them again when there's a baby, you know. So for me, this is quite special and I'm very grateful that they allow me to take part in this part. I've been accused of a few things during the years, but given the choice between having a bad father or no father and a donor father who is prepared to meet you and answer all of your questions and have contact whenever you want, then I'd say the latter is a better opportunity for happiness.
On a secluded island is a circle of believers.
As we stand in circle, let's really feel into our intention and what it is we want to take out into the world.
Leading the way is Des Nichols, a spiritual globe-trotter.
I want to live in an extraordinary world where people are really living love every day in a way that can create heaven on earth.
He's part of a movement around the world that is teaching people how to reclaim their power.
Let's energize our intent, and then we're going to take it out into the ocean. Okay, ready?
He preaches about power. The power of sex.
It's dealing directly with the largest wound that the human collective is dealing with, which is our sexual wounding.
"55-year-old American Baba Des Nichols describes himself as a sexual healer.
I support people to deal with different issues around their sexuality, their energy, their relationships, their spiritual path, and I'm a guide.
Though currently on tour in New Zealand, he's the founder of a New Age church, the International School of Temple Arts. Its headquarters are in Arizona, but the movement has spread to over 30 countries around the globe.
I love sex, and I'm a very passionate, very alive, very sexual human being. And in fact, what we're realizing now is that it's actually essential to our spiritual evolution because it propels our spiritual development.
Take that energy in you and really let that represent your own energy.
Baba Des is giving a week-long workshop on sexual healing.
But as we learn how to be deeper lovers and bigger lovers.
This is an advanced course. The participants are all sexual healers themselves.
What sexual healers like myself do is we go right into the issues around sexual dysfunction. Some of the things that hold people back are the beliefs that sex is dirty, sex is wrong, sex is bad. So, you know, we'll go into a lot of different things that involve touch and intimacy to notice where the blocks and fears are that are keeping them from having the most extraordinary love life that they could have.
Workshop participants, including husbands and wives, are encouraged to share each other sexually.
And as sacred union happens within your being, your body, your heart.
As a female sex healer, Martina incorporates Des's teachings into her professional life.
There's a need for touching therapy because people don't feel loved, and through touch, through the sensual, loving, touching, stroking, they can really feel what the heart has to offer.
Des preaches of healing and love, and as always, love is a mystery.
We don't really know, what his motivation for doing this is. He could be doing this from a sincere desire to help people, or he could be doing this because he gets to have sex with lots of different women.
Des wasn't always a jet-setting sex shaman. He made his fortune when he sold a successful health food business. With financial freedom came the pursuit of passion.
I got into doing what I do because as a young man, I just saw how crazy the world was. All the competition, all of the war between the sexes. So it just became a hobby of mine to help the people I love unscramble their lives and really live life and live love and have a more enjoyable life.
Des prepares for a one-on-one healing session with Ellie, a sexual healer enrolled in the course. They believe that to help others, you must first heal yourself.
When I signed up, there was a part of me that really wanted to run away, but there was a stronger part of me that was going to get me there no matter what.
Abused as a child, Ellie has issues around sexual intimacy.
So just feel into this now. Feel into this touch.
This work is very helpful for people who've suffered any kind of sexual abuse because you go back to that point in time and you recreate the situation and you take your power back.
So as you're breathing in to your body in this touch, do you remember anything?
Within a traditional therapist-patient relationship, sex is illegal.
just find it really hard to feel to be here in my body.
But Des feels intimate touching is central to healing, even in the treatment of sexual abuse.
I just got this picture of me lying on a bed when I'm about 10 or 11 years old.
If we're dealing with a big issue around someone who's been incested or raped, let's say when they were a child, they're either aware of the issue or they're unconscious of the issue. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to bring conscious awareness to that thing that happened.
You know, I didn't want him to scratch my mum. I wanted him to scratch
What
my
else do you want to say to him right now?
Sometimes it doesn't happen until something like actually being touched on the genitals, or maybe even penetration. That would actually trigger the memory so that they can actually deal with the trauma that happened with them in the past.
What do you want to say to him? Make sure he hears you. Go ahead and give that little girl a voice now, and let her say what she couldn't say then. Go ahead and do a hand scream, Ellie. Go ahead and do a hand scream. Yeah. Let it shake. Let it shake. Let it move. Make sure he hears you.
Get out of my bedroom! I really went back into a place inside myself that was very scared of intimacy and very scared of, receiving touch from a man.
And what else is happening for you?
I want to feel what it feels like to make love to you.
The only way that I would move into sexual intimacy with someone is if I really got that they really are present with the issue, they've healed the issue, and they're coming to me from more of a place of a whole healthy adult wanting to move in the direction of having a healthy sexual experience.
How's that?
That's really nice. With Des's help, he guided me back into my body and helped me to feel safe again and to really take back that moment in my life and say what I needed to say. And I think he's also a beautiful man, and I love engaging with him sexually because he's just a beautiful man.
Ellie says she's a happy customer, but victims of sexual abuse are usually advised to seek the help of a psychiatrist.
I think the potential downsides for someone who has suffered sexual abuse potentially enormous. My issue is not that somebody is paying to have a physical experience. My issue is that somebody is paying for a physical experience that is passed off as psychotherapy. That is a potentially deeply damaging experience to somebody who is so vulnerable to a repetition of their original trauma.
So what we want to do is we want to get that kind of energy going. It's real primal, it's real base, it's real, life force energy down here in our sacral center. We want to feel our desire in our bodies.
Des has studied sexual healing for many years, but has no formal qualifications as a sex therapist.
I think the thing that really needs to be looked at is the actual people that I'm working with. Am I leaving a trail of destruction behind me? Or am I leaving a trail of people that are feeling supported, loved, and their issues are in resolution?
Some question mixing business with pleasure.
Sex is a very powerful brain system. It's a basic drive. It evolved millions of years ago. We all have it. And those who can tap in to a person's sex drive and make money on it can use it for great good or great evil.
I think Baba Des's entire enterprise lives in murky waters. There's a real difference between consensual sex and something that is being passed off as transformative. That your personality would change, that you would heal deep traumas from childhood. Is it therapy? Is it spirituality? And I think that there needs to be some kind of differentiation.
Just totally relaxing and letting your breath take you deeper and deeper into deeper states of relaxation.
Des claims that his teachings are based on the ancient practice of Tantra, or sacred sexuality.
Sacred sexuality is taking sex out of the ordinary. It's taking it out of the realms of procreation and recreation, and it's expanding it into the realms of restoration, rejuvenation, and transformation.
But some question modern interpretations of Tantra.
There's a wide misperception in the West that Tantra is all about sex. In fact, sex is a very small part of what Tantra is and what its ritual practices are. Tantra broadly refers to the esoteric dimension of religious practice in Hinduism and also Buddhism. A Tantra is actually a kind of a book. And this book contains in it very veiled descriptions of very advanced meditative and ritual practices. You don't just teach them to anybody, you don't just leap in and do them.
It's not just academics who question some modern sexual healing methods. The Arizona State Police have some serious concerns too. In September 2011, police moved against sexual healing groups in Arizona.
After a 6-month investigation, police say they busted an organized prostitution ring disguised as an alternative healing church.
Raids were carried out on 3 different locations.
I don't care whether you want to call it a donation, a fee, whether or not you want to call your activity healing or a tantric practice. Accepting money for sex is against the law.
Des himself was not involved in the police swoop and faced no charges.
And feel displaced as we all become one, as we merge this energy.
But he is helping raise money for the legal defense of those arrested.
Arizona has something called the State Religious Freedom Restoration Act. And so that does give religious conduct in Arizona special protection. They can try to argue that people are not paying for the act of sex. What they're paying for is the broader religious experience.
Des insists that sexual healing and prostitution should not be confused.
Arizona is a very conservative state, and so they have a hard time distinguishing between sexual healing and sexual empowerment and prostitution. Prostitution is about servicing people. It's about entertainment, where sexual healing is really about supporting people with issues around their sexuality.
The thing that I admire about him is he actually tells the truth about the fact that he's a man and he desires, and that desire is part of the equation whenever he engages somebody. The trick is the degree of integrity that you use that desire and how you use it in healing.
At times this path I walk can stretch me to the core, so I take a breath and let go even more. Well, sometimes in life it seems so hard to feel.
I'm in my 50s, and I will continue to live in love for as long as I live in love. And I'll continue to do this work for as long as I'm moved to do this work.
Well, don't think too much. Let go of why and how.
And I'm interested in living a long life, and I'm interested in living a long, healthy life filled with lots of love.
Fill me up, this love blows me away.